The Boulder welcomes you all, or the Lobber welcomes you all to the show.
Hello there.
The Lobber is conflicted. The Lobber doesn't want to beat up a ponytailed young man.
Uh, what a great character the Lobber is.
Yeah, the Lobber. You know what? I want John Jackson Miller just to write a Lobber novel. Just
I would immediately read that,
oh,
actually.
I would too. I
Or like
absolutely would.
even like a Lobber short story in an Insider issue.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. No, the Lobber. The Lobber's the best.
Most important character in Star Wars canon, actually.
Besides Therm Scissor Punch.
Right, it's like Therm Scissor Punch, the Lobber, and then like I don't
Everyone
know,
else.
Anakin or something. I don't know.
Well, no, Therm Scissor Punch, the Lobber, Jar Jar Binks, Anakin
Jar Jar
Skywalker.
Binks,
Yeah.
Elysia Zevron, then Anakin Skywalker.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got to get our priorities straight here, Leah.
We gotta get our priorities straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we want to tell the listeners what's happening? What this is?
So, if you have not started reading John Jackson Miller's latest novel, The Living Force, um, or if you have, you know who this character is. The Lobber is, is this bad guy who tried to take over a capital transport that was heading back to Coruscant from this section of the Outer Rim called the Slice, which I automatically kept thinking of pizza whenever they kept saying the Slice.
Shout out
Um,
to Expanded Universe fans. The Slice, that name persists.
it really does. It really does.
That name will
Um,
never go away.
so as I'm reading the book, and I was just telling Leah before we started, when the Lobber showed up and started talking, I just kept thinking of the boulder from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And if you don't know who the Boulder is, he was a professional wrestler in the Earth Kingdom that got beat by Toph, who was a blind girl.
A
Uh,
12-year-old blind
a,
girl, specifically.
a 12-year-old blind girl. Yes, yeah. So it's fun. It's silly. I mean, that cold open, like that is a cold open right there with the Lobber and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
It
Like that's
really is.
cold
It
open.
really does start you in media ray with that one.
Yeah,
Right in the middle of the action. You're in the
exactly.
middle of a mission with two of our most beloved Jedi.
Yeah, and I love when Star Wars shows us like the characters in the middle of a situation. It kind of reminds me of the older James Bond movies where like you would see Bond like in the middle of a mission at the beginning of the movie and like you'd see him complete that mission and then like it would move on to the main story. I feel like we're getting the same thing here.
I mean, so many great stories start that way.
Oh yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark starts with Indiana Jones in the middle of a expedition.
Yeah. So does Last Crusade.
Yeah,
Actually, all of the
all
indie
of them
films.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like the formula for indie.
It is.
Um, anyway,
Indy's kind of the American James Bond in a way.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also indie is more relevant to like a Star Wars centric podcast than
Yes, than James Bond.
James Bond.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Speaking of which, hi, this is Starlight Beacon Transmissions.
Leah, I wish we could see I wish we could see you, but I know you were having some computer issues, but it's great to have you here in audio.
Great to be here.
Yes, welcome back. Yeah, we took last weekend off because we were actually at the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra trooping for their Force Awakens concert. So that
That
was
is
actually really cool.
phenomenal.
Oh yeah, hearing the opening crawl with a live orchestra, goosebumps, absolute goosebumps.
I
And
mean,
the
yeah, it's one of those pieces of music, even outside of the like nostalgia context.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so iconic. Absolutely iconic. So yeah, we did that, and then yeah, that's why we weren't live last weekend. But yeah, we've had quite a bit happen in the world of Star Wars news.
Boy,
Um,
have we.
not only do we have the Bad Batch continuing to wreck our hearts, week
Sick
after week
Wrecker
after week.
reference.
Thank you. Wrecker is my boy. Like Wrecker's my spirit animal. Like I want to be that type of uncle to my nephew, you know? Just like kind of dumb but not dumb.
Right,
Yeah.
like the kind of dumb that they think you're dumb when they're 5, and then when
Yeah.
they're 15, they're like, "Oh wait, actually."
It was all an act. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
get
be.
you.
Yeah, I want to be that uncle. I want to be like Wrecker. Um so we've had that going on. We have had a Star Wars trading card game launch with Star Wars Unlimited, which, if you have not seen those cards yet, they are absolutely gorgeous. The art on those cards is fantastic. Um, and this seems to be like a better trading card game to get into, other than, I don't want to say it, but I will, Magic, because Magic, I feel, is not as accessible to new players anymore. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, moving on. Star Wars Unlimited is here, and we actually have the second set for Star Wars Unlimited coming out in July, and it's called Shadows of the Galaxy, and it's
We
going to be
love scum and villainy.
yes, it's going to be based in the Outer Rim, and it will deal with characters such as bounty hunters, and the starter set for that block, I guess you could say, is going to feature the Mandalorian and Moff Gideon. So you're going
Is
to
that the
have.
one that includes everyone's favorite terrible doctor?
Uh, I'm thinking he's in the Gideon set. I have to look
Oh,
at the Gideon set.
I'm talking about
Oh,
Afra.
Afra. Oh yeah, no, Afra was confirmed. Afra was confirmed.
We love our comics crumbs.
Yes, she was confirmed. Bad Batch was confirmed for the set as well, which is pretty cool. Um, And then I believe Cad Bane is also confirmed for the set, which is
I will take your word for it. I've not been following that news that closely.
it's a really cool game. It's a really really cool game. And I've actually gotten more and more into tabletop RPGs lately, because or not tabletop RPGs, tabletop card games. Because I've always been in RPGs, but yeah, tabletop card games. So I think that's really cool that that they're kind of doubling down on that and trying to give Star Wars fans a tabletop card game to play. Um, let's see here. What else did we get? Oh,
We got
uh,
some. Oh,
yeah. No, go ahead.
um, this is me coming from my uh, biased High Republic favoritism, but we got a couple book
What?
covers. We
We
got a couple
did.
book covers.
We did.
We also got a comic issue that I don't know if we're gonna talk about spoilers for it, but wow, what
I
an
have
issue!
not read it yet, but I will.
You should. It's quite good.
Yes. You're talking to issue 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's the one that has Tay
Um,
on the cover.
it is the one that has everyone's favorite purple guy on the cover.
I love Tay. Such a great character.
He's phenomenal.
He's
It's also got Tarek in it, and they are maybe my favorite character in this run. I can't fully explain it. I'm just obsessed with them. But we also got two new upcoming book covers. So we now have seen all 3 covers for Wave 2 of
Yes.
Phase 3.
I will say this: Temptation of the Force looks exactly like a romance cover, and I
It
am
looks
all
like
here for it.
it looks like a book that was on my grandma's bookshelf when I was a kid that she like tried to put out of my reach.
like,
Um,
like with the lady in like the ranch hand with the open shirt.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I love it. I think it's great.
Me too. Me too. It
Um,
looks like a Harlequin romance novel, and I'm here for it.
but we've had that for a bit. What we
We
got
did.
was the what we got were the covers for the 2 Nameless books,
Hmm.
Tears of the Nameless and Beware the Nameless by,
Yes.
if I remember correctly, those are George Mann and Zoraida Cordova, respectively.
Yes, I believe George is writing Tears of the Nameless,
Yes.
and then Zoraida is writing
Right,
Beware
right,
the
right.
Nameless.
Because
Yeah.
Tears for Fears, and he's the one who writes horror things.
George, even George's middle grade stuff in the High Republic is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, it, I like Quest for the Hidden City is quite well written horror.
Oh yeah. Especially like when the dude is slowly transforming because of like the crystals in him.
Yeah, no, like it's very good. And then of course, Nameless Terror is Nameless Terror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the cover is. I always like to shout out the artists. I think it's
Uh,
Corey Brickley for Tears of the
yes.
Nameless and Peter Antonsen for
Yes.
Beware the Nameless.
Yeah, and Corey is fantastic.
They
Corey's
are,
art is so
and
good.
I mean Peter is like synonymous with
Oh yeah.
the High Republic middle grades at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean the two of them both have quite a good
Hmm.
record with High Republic covers.
Oh yeah. And excuse me. Um and with the Beware the Nameless, we got to look at Churo the Hutt. And what
Which is
better,
one of the greatest names in all of Star Wars.
I was just about to say that. What better name for a hut than Churro?
Uh, it. I hope that he continues the trend that we have seen with the High Republic in giving us like characters of species that are normally one thing doing something else.
Hmm.
We've gotten a Bith Jedi, we've gotten a Quarren Chancellor,
Hmm.
um, and hopefully now we get a Hutt who isn't affiliated with the mob.
He's just trying to do his own thing.
He's got a little bug on his hand. Maybe he's an entomologist.
That would be really interesting. And I love his goggles.
I
I
love
love
his
the goggles.
goggles.
Yeah. Yeah, the goggles are great.
Goggles are peak character design. Write that down.
I mean, my droid builder, I wear goggles in my droid builder costume.
And then like Maz Kanata,
Hmm.
Das Lufbrock.
Oh yeah.
Peak character design.
Yeah, I mean it's peak character design. I love when Star Wars is goggles.
I love when Star Wars is vests, goggles, ponchos,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Vests
um,
are a great thing.
bandoliers.
Bandoliers are pretty good. I mean, come on. Our boy Chewie is the one to really get those bandoliers on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
Um, yeah. And the Beware the Nameless cover also gave us Zenny Greylark, um, which is a name that is recognizable to High Republic fans. Um, she's some kind of distant relative of a certain chancellor.
and her chaotic son.
The only question is she a direct descendant? And if so, how? Because I was pretty sure he was going to be in prison for a good long while.
But no, he's going to be rehabilitated, remember?
Yeah, but he also killed a lot of people.
He did kill a lot of people. He did. Or was it him or was it Zoraida Cordova?
You know, I know that Kevin Scott is the one who has the reputation for killing all your favorite characters.
Yes.
But I want to break it down like numbers wise because I really do feel like he hasn't killed all that many, relatively speaking.
I think his numbers compared to like Charles and Claudia and Zoraida are pretty low.
Yeah, even Dr. Kang with one book, she got a good number in.
She killed like 200 people in like the last third of that book.
Oh, I'm just counting like major named characters.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, no, actually, I will say this: George has a pretty high number too.
Oh God, yeah. Well, because George writes horror,
Well,
and
that
kind of
and
one of the
Battle
iconic
of
things about
Jeddah,
horror is there's not a lot of survivors.
exactly. But Battle of Jeddah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, uh,
Our favorite authors murder our favorite characters. It's great.
and we have another picture of one of my favorite new little guys from the High Republic on the Tears of the Nameless cover.
Amadeo,
Amadeo Azazo, my little guy.
you love Amadeo.
I love Amadeo. He's I don't know why I'm so enamored with this Padawan, but he's so much fun.
He is. He is a
He's
lot of
like
fun.
he's like a reverse Reef Silas in a lot of ways, which is why I'm really excited to see them interacting.
Oh, because you know it's going to be like a buddy cop.
It's gonna be a buddy cop, and I just think the funniest thing is it's gonna be a buddy cop between the two of them, and then it's gonna be like they're also gonna have Aslan Rel there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like what role is he fulfilling?
So, if we're looking at this as like a buddy cop comedy, Aslan Rel is probably going to be the grizzled captain in that precinct.
Oh my
From
god.
like all of like the 1980s buddy cop movies, the
Yeah,
90s buddy cop movies. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
oh yeah. So you're thinking of the one captain from Beverly Hills Cop, the one captain from Lethal Weapon. Like you're thinking of those when it comes to Aslan Rel.
Oh, Aslan.
Because like that's the only thing that I can think of with Aslan Rel. Is like
I
they
do
would be
think it would be funny to have like, okay, Reef and Amadeo have their like back and forth, not seeing
Mhm.
eye to eye thing, but then like they act as one person against the the too old for this shit
Oh yeah.
cop that is Aslan Rel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Aslan's like, I've seen some things, man, and they're like, we don't care. Like,
Aslan's like, I am one day from retirement, and they're both
oh,
like, you are 170 years old.
yes. You should have
You
been long gone.
you should have retired 3 times by now.
Exactly. This is my last job before retirement.
This is your last job before crumbling into dust.
Literally.
Um, Speaking of crumbling into dust, we also got the new opening crawl for Wave 2 of Phase 3.
Yeah, where they say blights.
Um, and I saw this pointed out. The word blight has been tossed around a couple times before, namely when everyone started spouting prophecies on Planet X.
Mm-hmm.
So that's worrisome.
You think? You think just a little bit?
I think we're about reaching the time when only through the sacrifice of many Jedi can the sins against the Nameless be cleansed.
Ooh. Look at that prophecy right there.
Isn't it great how much prophecy there is in Star Wars? Isn't it great how much of it was set up before the High Republic was even announced?
Oh yeah, like I love all the prophecy stuff in Master and Apprentice.
And Dooku Jedi Lost had a good bit of it too.
Yes. Dooku Jedi Lost's prophecy stuff is fantastic.
Actually, fully preparing for uh, the coming rest of Phase 3, I recently re-listened to the audio drama,
Ooh.
and yeah, it's it's also Dooku Jedi Lost is probably the closest we have to like Acolyte in terms of timeline right now.
Yeah, because it's like right around that time or a little bit after.
Yeah, he's like a couple decades after the Acolyte.
Yeah.
So
So real quick, one of my friends who's big into Bad Batch. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, and then we'll hop back into the High Republic.
no, go
She
for it.
they sent a meme, and it's from Monsters Inc. and it says Dr. Hemlock, and it's like I'll kidnap 1,000 children if I have to before I let this company die.
Oh my god. Uh, what is it
Sorry,
with Star Wars and, and child endangerment?
it's fantastic. It's great. Um. Anyway, back to more child endangerment with the High Republic.
Ain't that just the way?
This is the way. Mm, gotcha. Gotcha.
Bet you didn't think we'd get a Mandalorian reference in there, huh?
No, we had Avatar: The Last Airbender, and now we've had The Mandalorian. Where else? And Monsters Inc. Where else are we going?
Time will tell.
I don't know, because I've talked a lot of Star Wars and Fallout this week between multiple shows. So uh,
Something more never changes. I don't know. That was
yeah,
forced.
yeah,
Um,
that was forced. I was on John and Joey's show Thursday night, and we talked Outlaws and Fallout, and God, the Fallout discussion was
oh, so
fantastic.
you've been primed with all of this. I guess you could say the game was rigged from the start. No, that's forced too.
Oh,
It's not quite as
yeah,
bad, but
yeah.
close to as bad.
Thank you, New
Let's
Vegas. Thank you, New Vegas. Thank you.
let's
Uh,
uh let's
yeah, let's move on.
let's move on.
Um,
Um, Outlaws was mentioned.
Outlaws was mentioned, and this is where like a bulk of our show is going to be with Outlaws. And I got to tell you, before we dive into this thing, Ubisoft Massive might have a hit on their hands here.
It, I mean, Nyx alone is such a good selling point.
They would be stupid not to do Nyx plush.
They really would. Um, yeah, we need marketable plushies of Nyx like yesterday.
Yeah, since we didn't get it for Moopsy and Lower Decks, let's get it for Nyx with Star Wars Outlaws. Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah, but with Nyx, like, but Nyx feels like a BD1 character, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
every like every protagonist needs their little sidekick.
yeah, especially in Star Wars. Especially in Star Wars,
Especially in Star Wars.
and I love how Nyx kind of takes on the BD1 role, but Nyx also kind of reminds me of Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite, where like
Kind
Elizabeth
of,
would be
yeah.
like running around the map and like trying to like toss you stuff like as she finds it. Um, and I love, don't get me wrong, like I love Elizabeth, but I hate catch Booker, Booker catch. Like I kept hating hearing that after a while. I was like, gee,
Luckily, it doesn't
thanks.
seem like Nyx can talk.
No,
Speaking of Nyx, actually, have you seen um, at Catherine Everything's K-Vess cosplay with the animatronic Nyx?
I have not seen that yet. I will look it up though.
Um, I so they first, as far as I know, they first debuted this cosplay at Los Angeles Comic Con last year.
Uh huh.
Um, and yeah, they have an animatronic Nyx with like moving head tendril thingies, and it's phenomenal.
Oh, that is pretty awesome.
Here, I'll grab a link and send it to you, and
Yeah. I
you
did
can figure out the
see.
best way to distribute that.
Yeah, I did see. Ruthless Night Sisters cosplay of Kay, and hers is great too.
Yeah. Um, K-Vess is already very clearly a like immediately adopted by the fans.
I did see this. Yeah, I'm gonna post the link in our Discord for this. And I posted the link to our Discord in the chat here. So please feel free to join us on Discord. Um, yeah, no, I mean that man, that must have taken them a year at
Yeah,
least.
and it's all real leather for the jacket and the belts and that kind of thing.
Wow.
All hand done. Um, I have seen their process. It's wild. They're currently, or I think they just finished up a like uh, Baldur's Gate 3 like generic bard armor
Yeah,
build, also with real leather, also like hand stitched.
yeah,
So if you like really in-depth leatherwork cosplays, they are a great person to follow.
yeah. They're oh my gosh. Like I'm looking at their stuff right now, and it's incredible. It's
It's
absolutely incredible.
shockingly good.
Yeah. I mean
Um,
the amount of detail.
the amount of detail, the amount of
Yeah.
effort put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, much respect to cosplayers always.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, even your cosplays are fantastic, Leah. Like seriously, your cosplays are absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't quite have the chops to do fancy leather work like that,
yeah.
but I do have a big roll of pleather that's very easy to work with, so I like that.
There you go. There you go. There you
But
go.
yes, Outlaws. So besides just Nyx, who is one of the cutest little guys in Star Wars,
And Nyx will
um,
be voiced by D. Bradley Baker, by the way.
yet another character under his belt. Um,
It's interesting that D. Bradley Baker gets animal characters in a lot of stuff that he does.
well, as far as I know, that's like his main thing that he's done.
Yeah, because he was also Perry the Platypus.
And Appa from
He
Avatar.
was Appa.
And Momo.
I freaking love Momo. Momo's the best. Anyway,
Um, and Nubs. He's
eh,
great as Nubs.
he is fantastic as Nubs. Hashtag Nubs Nation. That's what we are here.
We
Hashtag
are
Nubs
always
Nation.
Nubs Nation.
And we're also Turtletown, USA, by the way.
Nubs Nation, Turtle Town.
Yes.
Will we be Nyx Nation? Time will tell.
We I think we'll be Knicks Nation. I think we will. You know. Anyway, excuse
This
me.
is Turtle Town. This is Nubs Nation. We are BD's buddies.
We are BD's buddies, and we are Lobbers loyalists. Ah,
Yeah. The
yeah.
Lobbers loyalists.
The Lobbers loyalists. Yes. So we have that. D. Bradley Baker's also going to be voicing Jabba the Hutt as well in Star Wars Outlaws, and we did get a little bit of Jabba in the trailer.
Because what would a scum and villainy story be without everyone's favorite uh, everyone's favorite boneless crime lord?
Exactly, exactly, and I will say this. I was talking because I was on Level Up Live on Thursday with John and Joey, and I was saying this game really excites me because we're getting the criminal underworld, and we haven't gotten a lot of those stories in Star Wars, especially like in current canon. Like we've gotten a few, but we
Right.
haven't gotten a lot.
Like we had the Dr. Aphra comics, but those were very focused on one character and her
Yeah.
immediate companions. We had the Bounty Hunters comic, which did give us a lot of that, but
Hmm.
they were also, again, very wrapped up in their own story after the first couple arcs,
Yeah.
which was great. Don't get me wrong. The Bounty Hunters
Yeah.
comic run and the Dr. Aphra comic runs are some of the best Star Wars.
Chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss.
um, but yeah, mostly the kind of scum and villainy stories have been in like those comics and those
Hmm.
other less popular media. Mandalorian started out kind of as a scum and villainy story, but it very quickly became something else.
Yeah, and Book of Boba Fett did the same, and then really just lost its identity along the way. Um, don't get me wrong, like I still enjoyed Book of Boba Fett. Absolutely enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Um,
I truly think it is one of the most rewatchable of the shows.
it is. It is because it's something that you can kind of just put on in the background and just like look up every once in a while, and you would get like what's going on in the show. But it is very rewatchable. It is actually one of the most beautiful live action Star Wars shows that we've gotten.
But
Um,
it does kind of lose that scum and villainy backbone,
it does.
which was very clearly intentional. It was like the transition of this character from a scum and villainy character to a more respectable character, which
Yeah,
I respect that like plot choice.
yeah.
But it left the scum and villainy fans feeling a little
Hmm.
bit lost.
I will say this as a scum and villainy fan, I did feel a little underwhelmed, but I think Outlaws is definitely going to make up for it. I think
Yeah,
that this
and
is
I think it's great that Outlaws seems, from what we've seen of it, like it's going to tie into the what is probably the biggest scum and villainy story that we've gotten, which is the Kira trilogy.
hmm
Because we know that the Lady of Crimson Dawn is coming back,
yes,
and
yes,
we
we do.
know that the kind of main target syndicate, whose name escapes me,
Oh,
was first mentioned in Crimson Reign.
it was something something Besh, I think it was.
I need to double check.
Yeah, let me look up the Star Wars Outlaws website because I
And
think
I'm going to grab. Uh, I'm gonna see if I can find the issue they appeared in the Kira trilogy.
we will get into the different editions too here in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to talk about with the announcements for Outlaws.
So this is going to be on PC, Xbox Series S and X, and PS5. It is not going to be available on any other platforms.
Um, Zarek Besh.
Zarek Besh, yeah.
And I found that in issue 1 of Hidden Empire.
Okay.
So this has been cooking for a hot minute.
Yes.
And this was very clearly, there was communication between the game development team and the comic development team, which is
Hmm.
phenomenally exciting.
Yeah. Matt Martin said that they worked very closely with the comic team, the story group, and Ubisoft Massive when it came to telling this story, which is huge because having all of those people coming together, like you can tell, like they reached out to Charles for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and to tell the story of the War of the Bounty Hunters, the whole Kira trilogy too, with Crimson Reign and Hidden Empire as well. That just excites me because we can actually see this war happen. Like we can see Crimson Dawn make the play for Han Solo, like
Yeah.
in this
So we
game.
did see Han and Carbonite.
We did,
So
we did.
I've seen a lot of people thinking that this might take place during the Crimson Reign, during the time when Crimson Dawn had incited this war between all the syndicates,
Yes,
which again is also supported by them talking about how all the syndicates are vying for power.
yes,
Um, but yeah, I don't see a reason why it couldn't start a little bit earlier than that and give
yeah.
us kind of the tail end of the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Hmm. And one of the things that I would love to see from it is like we talk about the different bounty hunters, and we get this brand new bounty hunter character in the game as well. But it would be cool to see like Valance and Forlom and
I
Zuckus
think
and
I
Bosk.
think if Valance showed up in this game, um, I would have to like call some of my friends and make sure that they had not died of a heart attack. Uh, because so for anyone who's not aware of Valance, of Violet Valance,
Yes.
there is much debate over how his name is pronounced, but I go with Violet Valance.
Yeah, that's how I go.
Um, for anyone who is not aware of him, he is a character who first appeared in the original Star Wars Marvel Comics run.
Hmm.
Uh, Specifically, he first appeared in issue 16
Hmm.
in, I want to say, October of 78.
Yeah, it was 78. Yeah.
I am holding the issue in my hand actually right now. Uh,
It's a
but
beautiful issue.
it's a beautiful issue. It's a great story. It holds
Yeah.
up. Um, so Valance was a character who appeared a few times in the original Marvel run. Um, and he was brought back into canon
Hmm.
as a bounty hunter, as this cyborg bounty hunter, for I think his first appearance Target Vader or
Yeah.
Han Solo Imperial Cadet. I can't remember. I think it was Target
It's
Vader.
it's Target Vader, and then they did Han Solo Imperial Cadet, and he showed up in that
Yeah.
because they
So
tell
he
that
was.
story again.
So Valance was one of Han Solo's classmates,
Yes.
um, and got shot down and had to have basically his entire body slowly replaced piece by piece with robot parts. And
Well, I'm sure, man.
and since the Empire didn't feel like paying the maintenance bills or whatever on his electronic parts, he got
Yes.
kicked out
Yep.
and he became a bounty hunter. And then he was the central character of the Bounty Hunters comic.
And I got to tell you, like, he really grew on me fast throughout that comic run. I still need to finish the run, but he grew on me so fast in that run.
He is kind of one of the icons of lovable scum and villainy in Star Wars.
He is. He's a bounty hunter actually with a heart of gold, and that goes back.
Well,
Yeah,
with a heart of pumps and wires.
yeah,
Um,
but he has a moral compass.
he does. He very much has a moral compass,
Yeah,
and it
because
gets him into trouble all the time.
it does. Because like when it goes back to that story with the I believe she was a princess like early on in the run, and like he's trying to
Uh,
protect her. The girl.
the story with Cordelia,
Yeah, yeah. Towards the beginning
the
of the run.
heiress of two crime families
Yeah,
from
I keep thinking princess.
Corellia.
Yeah, I keep thinking princess. I'm sorry.
I mean, she's kind of a princess.
She kind of is.
She is an heiress to an extremely wealthy familial title,
I wish I could be
to
in
two extremely wealthy familial titles.
Yeah, and then they were warring against her.
They basically, yeah, they didn't want her to unite the two families because war is profitable.
War is profitable. Remember, war never
War never
changes.
changes.
Yeah, there we go.
Um, I did
There
it.
we go. Yeah, you
Um,
did.
uh, but yeah, Valance, if he showed up, I think people would forgive literally anything else that happened in the game.
Yeah,
Uh,
it really would.
I mean, if we're talking like characters who we want to show up, we could toss in Dr. Afra as well because she was also participating in this whole Crimson Reign era.
Oh, I totally want to see Dr. Afra in the game. I mean, it would make sense for her to be there.
It would also make sense for her to be like kind of the unaffiliated. So we know that part of the game is going to be having your reputation with the different syndicates. But I
Yes.
can imagine that there will be a route of kind of having bad reputation with everyone.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
yeah.
feel like that's where you would meet Afra. Dr. Chulilona Afra, the bad doctor.
I mean, I would agree with that though. Like I really would. Like if that's how we're looking at it, like um because reputation is a big thing in the criminal underworld.
Absolutely. It's all you
And
have to your name.
exactly.
Reputation and credits.
And for to see Kay trying to navigate that as well, like it just I'm really intrigued to see like who am I gonna piss off? Like I can't
Because
wait to see.
you can't be a yes man to everyone.
No,
You're
I've
gonna
tried
make
that.
someone angry. And the
Yeah,
question is, are you making Crimson Dawn angry? Are you making the Pikes angry? Are you making the Hutts angry? None of them are
yeah.
good options.
No, no, no. I think out of all of them, I think the Pikes being angry at me would be the least of my worries. And I only say that because if you look at the Hut Cartel, they're pretty powerful.
I mean, at this point, yes,
And if you look at Crimson Dawn pretty much put the Pikes in their place anyway.
this is true. The Hutts do end up pretty much falling apart, but that's more of
Yeah,
a post Return of the Jedi thing.
yeah, exactly. So if I'm gonna piss off any of them, I'm probably just gonna choose the Pikes.
Do we
Plus,
know all of the um, syndicates that are going to be there?
I so they named 4 in the trailer, but I have a feeling we're gonna see a couple of more.
So wait, what were the four that they named? Crimson Dawn, Hutts,
It-
Pikes,
And then oh the new one, Zarek
Zarek
Besh.
Besh.
Yeah,
All right, so like I'm thinking of the major ones that weren't mentioned: Black Sun,
Black Sun, absolutely.
um, Crimora Syndicate,
Yeah.
Droid Gatra.
Oh yeah.
I think I think those are the other major ones.
Conja Club.
Contra Club is later.
Yeah, that's true.
Contra Club is just kind of getting its footing at this point.
Oh, the droid
because the
Gatra.
humans haven't taken over Narkanji yet.
Yeah, that's right. The droid Gatra, that would deal with the pirate droids, right? From Shadow of the Sith.
I think those were related to the droid Gatra. It's been a bit since I've read that book.
Yeah.
But the droid Gatra were also perennial enemies of Dr. Afro, which is where they've mainly shown up.
Yeah, that was a fun run. That was a really fun run.
Boy, was it.
Both runs.
But yeah, I mean, even if we don't get all of those additional syndicates,
yeah,
the Hutts, the Pikes, Crimson Dawn cover a good chunk of the like.
Oh yeah, especially the major players.
Yeah,
and to see Crimson Dawn without Maul as the head, with Kira in charge.
Yeah, I'm of course coming at this from the perspective of someone who has like read all of those comics and knows everything that happens to Kira. But for the average Star Wars fan, like hearing that Kira is coming back is, well, honestly, probably a lot of people are like, who? But
she's from Solo. Oh, I didn't see that movie. Okay.
She's one of Han's exes.
Yeah. Besides Staros.
Isn't it crazy how often Han's exes end up severely impacting galactic politics?
I think, yeah.
Does Han just have a thing for movers and shakers?
I think he does. Because I think his exes showed up in Dark Empire also, like all the way back in the 90s in old Legends.
Yeah, no, he is a man. I mean, they definitely get their money's worth out of him being like the oldest of the original trilogy trio.
Oh yeah.
By giving him all of the like backstory things. You know, he's the one who gets to be like, I know a guy. Because most of the people Leia knew died, and most of the people Luke knew either died or are moisture farmers.
Yeah. Well, and also going back to Harrison Ford and his iconic Indiana Jones, remember he said, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
That's true.
Yeah.
And few characters in Star Wars have more actual miles, actual parsecs of distance under their belts than Han Solo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's cool to see that Han's going to be in Carbonite, which also gives me hope for Lando showing up as well.
Right, because Lando was also a major mover and shaker during this era.
Yeah. And it would be cool, like, if they showed Leia, I'd be okay with it. I don't want to see Luke, though. I really don't want to see Luke.
Well, around this time, if I remember correctly, Luke is dealing with Jedi stuff, so he's probably out of the picture.
Was that when he was on the Mushroom Planet?
I think the Mushroom Planet was somewhere around this time.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. It's been forever since I've read the back issues of the main Star Wars run.
Yeah. And that was issue 25, I think.
20.
20, that's right. 25 was the one that had the Poe Dameron eulogy.
Yes. Not Poe Dameron eulogy. He did not die. The Snap Wexley eulogy.
Yeah. I meant Poe Dameron doing the eulogy.
God, I will always remember the maybe I'm just thinking about this movie a lot because I realized that this year is its 5th anniversary, but being in the theater for Rise of Skywalker, having read the Aftermath trilogy, and I see Snap Wexley get shot down, and I go, no! And I was the only person in the whole audience who reacted.
Oh, I yelled too. I
Like, come on, that's Snap.
Yeah. He's
That's
not supposed to
Wedge's
die.
son.
He's not supposed to die.
He's not supposed to. And then you see Wedge in like the next scene, and it's like he doesn't know.
No,
He doesn't
he
know that his
doesn't.
son is dead.
No. Um.
Ah,
Anyway,
anyway,
moving on.
moving on from
Um.
that depressing
Yeah, exactly.
tangent.
This is the live show. If you're thinking about coming on, this is what we do. Um.
It's all tangents.
It's all tangents, but it's fun because we circle it back around.
We do.
Yeah. There's one character. I will say this right now. There's one character in Star Wars I do not want in this game.
I know exactly who you're gonna say.
Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Vader's dealing with his own stuff at this time.
Oh yeah.
He's busy.
He is with handmaidens.
He's busy
Or
with
former
handmaidens, and I can't even remember the character's name, General Tauntaun or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's also dealing with the Exegol stuff too.
yeah, he's all over the place at this time period,
Yeah.
which is fine. You know, he's doing Sith things. It's what he's best at.
Yeah.
We don't need to see him here.
No. We
I
really
won't-
don't.
It wouldn't ruin the game if he showed up,
No.
but I just don't. He doesn't need to be there.
No. I was talking to John and Joey about this, and I said if they find a way to insert him like in a cutscene or something that's natural to the progression of the game, I'm okay with it. I don't
You
want
know
a
who I
Vader
would-
boss fight.
You know who I would actually rather see than Vader, and this wouldn't be as a boss fight. This would be in like a cutscene or something.
Mhm.
Would be the Emperor,
Oh, yeah, because that makes sense.
because we know Hidden Empire 1 that he does end up like contacting a lot of the syndicate leaders and being like, "Hey, we had like a deal that you would not cause too much chaos for me.
Yeah.
What's up, dudes?"
Hmm. Or even if like you see Kira like cut off a transmission with him like at the beginning of a cutscene or something.
Right,
Like
because
as like
she was
Hayes
also
walking
in
in.
contact with him.
Yeah. Like something like that would make sense for it, but like Vader to me just doesn't make sense for this game.
Right. I think the big like major character cameos that we'll get, maybe the Emperor, probably like Lando,
Yeah.
maybe Leia.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see Luke because of the
And
whole
Jabba,
family
of
thing.
course, but he's not really
Yeah.
a cameo. He seems to be a main character. Or
We
major
might
character.
we might see Chewie with Lando.
Yes.
Yeah, which is fine. Which is fine because they're
Right. Like
tag teaming.
I'm fine with like Lando and accompaniments.
Yeah.
Chewie,
Yeah, me too.
Lobot, whatever.
Yeah.
But mostly I'm just excited for whatever KBS's story is. Like
I
love a
I
new
am
character. I loved
too.
Cal Kestis. I
He's my
loved that
boy.
he was a new character and getting his story.
Cal Kestis
Yeah.
is one of the best characters to come out of any Star Wars project.
He's such an interesting guy.
He really is.
And I
He
mean, the
really
more I think about it, and I've actually recently started replaying Fallen Order.
is. Mhm.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, his story is so interesting, and it totally makes sense the way that it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see where it goes in the future. You know,
Yeah.
I really hope that we get another like tie-in novel before another game.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because I for one loved Battle Scars, and I loved
Battle Scars was good.
I am very happy that I had the opportunity to bring my annotated to hell copy to Los Angeles Comic Con to have Sam Mag sign.
Nice.
And she was incredibly happy to see how beat up and loved that book was. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like I don't know. I hope that Cave Fest gets the same amount of love, both from the fans and from
I,
her source.
I will say this about Kay Vess. I'm really excited to spend time with her character. I'm really excited that we're getting a Star Wars game with a different protagonist that's not force sensitive, that's not a Jedi, that's not a Sith.
Right.
Um, and it's actually nice to have a female lead in a Star Wars game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and like, yeah, because there's been, it's been circulated that like Cal Kestis's role was originally supposed to be a woman, um, or with they were thinking about having it be a woman, and I'm glad that they finally took that plunge.
Mhm.
I'm not glad about a certain subset of people who call themselves Star Wars fans' reaction
Yeah.
to her,
Yeah.
but we expected that that would happen.
We
Um,
we did.
you
Go
know,
on. I'll let you
don't
finish your
feed
thought.
trolls, don't
Yeah.
interact with verified users on Twitter. Uh, um,
Unless it's a reputable verified user.
right, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Not some guy that's paying for Twitter that has 30 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's like they don't deserve your the time of day.
No. And I gotta tell you, like, Humberly Gonzalez, who plays Kay Vess, is so appreciative of the fans. And she is so excited to be diving into this world. Like I've interacted with her a couple of times on Twitter now. And she is like so she's so down to earth. She knows her stuff when it comes to Star Wars. She's really excited about doing this. And that to me makes me even more excited for this game.
Yeah. I it is always good like when I mean this is part of what like makes the High Republic so fun is like it's people who genuinely care about what
Yes.
they're doing, what
Yes.
story they're telling. And I mean, we've seen this from like the Acolyte crew. We've seen this from.
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard to. Pretty much everyone who I've seen who works in Star Wars, the majority of them are people who are like, oh yeah, I was a huge fan my whole life, and
Yeah.
now I'm living the dream.
Mhm. I mean,
Um,
look at Leslie Headland.
Look at Leslie Headland. Look at like all of like the props teams. Do you know how many of like the prop and costume team people are like cosplayers that they picked up at
Oh yeah.
conventions?
Yeah. I mean, look at
um,
Christina Ariel's robes for the High Republic show. Like a cosplayer made those.
yeah, and I mean, this franchise has been going on 50 years. Um, yeah, I know. Um, Phantom Menace, The Force Awakens turns 10 next year.
I can't
Um,
believe it.
it doesn't feel real.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It feels like yesterday.
Actually, yesterday was the 10th anniversary of the trailer.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Anyway, the
But
clock keeps ticking.
yeah,
Um,
it does. But to see these crews, especially the Ubisoft Massive crew, just embrace the fun of Star Wars just makes me happy.
because it needs to be fun. I mean, that's what everyone loves about Turgle is he's goofy and fun, but still fits into you know the story. And I
Yeah.
hope that we get that same amount of fun. And it seems like we will. I mean, Scum and Villainy is kind of an inherently fun space to play in. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know.
I
I hope we
I
get some nice scrunkly little guys in it too, like Turgle.
yes. I mean, I will say this, like, when I was on Level Up Live, um, people, like John and Joey, we were talking about it and everything, and I said, "If you really want a good primer of, like, how this game could possibly go," I said, "Read Scoundrels, the old Legends novel
Hmm.
Scoundrels." Because I said, "That is a heist that's a heist story set in Star Wars," and I said, "I have a feeling they took a lot from that to bring it into here," which I'm okay with. I'm more than okay with it because it's
Yeah,
literally Solo's 11. But this will be like KVS's 4.
KVS is 4. Um,
She could have 11 people. Who knows?
uh, you know, something I'm really excited for with this. I mean, I'm excited for everything with
Hmm.
this, but um, I it's bothering me that I'm forgetting the name. The bounty hunter who's going to be
Oh, yeah. I'm blanking on her name too.
I'm pulling up the StarWars.com article as we speak.
Yeah.
Um, ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Vale.
Oh, yeah. 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 Vale.
I'm excited to see how she plays into it. Is it going to be like a Marin thing where you end up kind of convincing her to get on your side? Is it going to be she's like, you know, a boss that you have to beat before you get to the head of Zarek Besh?
Hmm.
Great questions.
Oh, yeah. Very great. Very great questions. Um, I will also say this. I do want to get into the pre-order levels here in a second for the game.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
but I will say this, just w- I am also really excited about how beautiful this game looks. This studio also just released Avatar Frontiers of Pandora a few months back. And that game was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. They also worked on Division and Division 2, which I'm really hoping they don't do the looter thing with it.
Mm,
Um, but I see a lot of the cover system from the Division in this game as well. Like K uses a lot of cover in the gameplay that we've seen. So but I will say this, Massive knows how to make a beautiful game, and I think that this is going to be a game that's absolutely gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you play
Uh,
Frontiers of Pandora?
I did not. Um, it Blue People Avatar is not like my particular bag
No,
of
I
tea,
get it.
cup of tea.
I get it.
I combined like 6 different idioms in that one. I apologize.
Don't
Um,
apologize for.
it's not my particular bag of hammers.
Box of crayons.
Um, but I will take your word for it being gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean it's no the lobber, but you know it's
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 no
it's
the
gorgeous.
lobber.
It's not the lobber. So let's take a look at the pre-orders here. So you can pre-order the standard edition of the game, which is going to be $69.99. The game releases August 30th, by the way. Um, the standard edition will get you the base game, and it will also get you a pre-order bonus. The pre-order bonus pack is going to be the Kessel Runner bonus pack, which is a cosmetic pack for your speeder, and a cosmetic for the Trailblazer starship. So we have that. Next up is the Gold Edition, which will give you the base game, the pre-order bonus, which is the Kessel Runner bonus pack. You get the season pass, which is going to have two DLCs that will release after launch. Plus, it will also have an exclusive mission known as the Jabba's Gambit, which to me feels like it's paying homage to the Hutt Gambit from Legends. Um, and then you get the Kessel Runner character pack featuring additional cosmetics for Kay and Nyx. And then with the gold edition, you can play 3 days early with 3-day early access, and that is 109.99. And then you have the ultimate edition, which comes with the base game pre-order bonus, which is the Kessel Runner pack. You get the season pass, then you get the Rogue Infiltrator bundle, which is cosmetics for K, Nyx, the Speeder, and the Trailblazer. You get the Sabak Shark bundle, which is cosmetics for Kay, her blaster, Nyx, the Speeder, and the Trailblazer. And I believe Kay gets a Lando outfit with the Sabak Shark bundle. Uh,
Yes.
yes. And then you get the
Specifically the
digital art
blue
book.
satin shirt.
Yes. And then you get the digital art book. That's going to be $129.99. And then if you really want to do this, you can also get Ubisoft Plus, which is $17.99 a month, which will give you the ultimate edition of the game that you can play 3 days early access. Yeah. And then you get all the goodies with that. And like I said, that's $17.99 a month. Which one are we pre-ordering?
Look, as much as oppose predatory pricing schemes, I am going to spend too much money on this game. I can say that with utter certainty. Um, I'm sorry to my principals. I'm sorry to my wallet, but I am going to spend too much money on this game.
I
Um,
pre-ordered the ultimate.
yeah, only reason I haven't done that is because I don't have a computer right now.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it for my Xbox.
um, I have I am a solid generation behind console wise, so
Mm,
um, c'est la vie.
say love me. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I
Uh,
mean,
look, I don't buy a lot of games.
hmm
Um, I don't. I mean, I have a full time job. I don't have time to play video games all the
oh,
time.
I'm the same way.
So like, I'm okay with investing a little bit too much money into one game. And
Yeah.
especially since the last couple Star Wars games, I have gotten a ton of mileage out of them.
hmm
Um, the Jedi series, Squadrons, I have gotten a lot of mileage out of all those. So like, I think, yeah, I think it'll be worth it for me personally.
Oh, yeah, I'm the same way. Like when I buy a game, I usually try to just like play it as much as possible. Um,
Yeah,
and especially with this being a single player game. And I have a feeling because of the way that your choices are going to affect the game, there is replayability there because what if I want to piss off Crimson Dawn in my first playthrough and then not piss them off in the second playthrough and piss off the Hutts instead?
exactly.
Yeah. And not to mention, you still have the Empire to piss off.
Not to mention the Empire.
And
The Empire is
possibly
like
the
an
Rebellion.
omnipresent threat.
Yeah. And possibly the Rebellion, too. So like you have
Oh,
all
I
of
didn't even
those.
think about that angle, but yeah, you could totally piss off the rebellion.
Yeah, which I kind of want to do at some point.
That would be fun.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but then they would sick Chopper on you as your bounty hunter instead.
Oh no.
Yeah,
They send
yeah,
Chewie for you and he's gonna rip off your arms.
yes.
Uh
Chewie and Black Chrysanthemum.
no.
Yeah.
Disastrous.
Oh yeah.
Um but yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Me too. Me too. I think it's going to be really fun. We have until August 30th. It's not that far away. It's still kind of far away, but it's not that far away.
It's far enough away that we'll have some more juicy reveals before it comes out,
Mhm.
but it
Oh
is
yeah,
not so far away that I feel like I it's close enough that I feel like the hype will be able to be maintained straight through.
yeah. And the interesting thing about this is we've got Summer Game Fest coming up in June anyway. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this not only showcased at Ubisoft's live event, which is going to be happening during that event, but we'll probably get some more showcase with the Xbox event, maybe even a PlayStation event too. So I have a feeling like we're going to see more of this. They're not going to show too much, but we're going to see a little bit more because
Right.
I think they're really going to hold their cards close to the vest.
Yeah, I can see them maybe giving us, a clip of one of the one of the bosses or like one of the like syndicate bosses or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
like
a
I
little bit more information about Vale or something of that nature.
yeah, and I can also see like we might get some more we might see a little more Kira maybe like I can see them showing a little bit more of her. But that's about it. And we might get a tour of the Trailblazer probably. Like I could see them like showing off the Trailblazer.
Yeah, I can see them definitely showing off the Trailblazer.
Yeah.
Because everyone loves a good like one of the parts that made people love and really connect with the Jedi series was the Stinger Mantis.
Yep.
Um, because like Star Wars is known for having iconic spaceships.
They really are.
Um, the houseboats of the galaxy far, far away.
They are houseboats. They really are.
Um, so giving us kind of Kay's answer to the Millennium Falcon,
Hmm.
to the Stinger Mantis. Yeah,
So before we
that would be
go,
a good like preview. Yes.
because we're gonna not gonna go the full 2 hours tonight. We're gonna wrap it up here in a little bit. But before we go, I have a wild card prediction of a character we could see in this game.
Gimme, gimme,
Actually,
gimme.
I have two. I have two.
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Kyle Katarn is the handler for KVS.
Ooh.
I think they're just giving that character another name, and he's secretly going to be Kyle Katarn
Hmm.
from Dark Forces. You know,
Right, right.
my
Anyone with
second,
even a tangential knowledge of the EU should know Kyle.
yeah, my second Dash Rendar.
Yet another, like, yeah, no, I think either of those would be a solid cameo appearance. Or
because
not even cameo, like, they could be a character in it.
because it makes sense for Dash Rendar to do it because this kind of feels like Shadows of the Empire in a way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, and I mean, like there is truth in legends, so I mean, they can do
Absolutely.
whatever they want with characters like that, bringing them
Hmm.
in. Um, yeah, I would be super excited for anything of that nature, but
Hmm.
both of those two sound like they would be perfect fits.
Yeah. You got anybody?
Uh, I mean, a lot of I was mainly just being like, what if Kira shows up? And now we know that she does, so I have to like recalibrate.
Maybe
Um,
we get Shizor.
Shizor would be also another like great Legends connection.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if I have a particular one. I am just happy to see whatever we see.
Hmm. And that's
I
the
do
beauty
think
of Star
like
Wars.
I do think Valance would be. I mean, I don't think he's at all likely to show up, but he would be really fun to have show up.
He'd be a
Especially
fun
because I think
tie-in.
at this time he was with the Empire. So if he shows up from like the Empire side of things,
Oh,
because
you
the
mean
Empire had him
like doing
cleaning up
yeah,
problems.
yeah, doing contracts for the Empire, yeah. Um,
So I don't know. That could be, but I don't think we'll get him. I don't at all think we'll get him. But
yeah.
if we do, I will be the happiest of campers.
Yeah. Well, we will see come August 30th or sometimes maybe even 3 days earlier.
Yeah. Nice
Yeah,
little
depend
early birthday present for myself.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. Oh wait, no, I go on vacation in September, like later September. Okay, yeah, no, I'd be able to play it like long before the vacation. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's Star Wars Outlaws, and we didn't even cover the entire trailer. We just covered the highlights,
Yeah.
and there's
Because
tons.
I don't want to predict too much about the plot. I don't want to predict too
No,
much about that. I don't like doing too much of that.
no.
Because I'm always wrong.
Oh, me too. But it's fun to speculate a little bit, but you got to do it responsibly. You got to speculate responsibly.
Please speculate responsibly.
Yeah, your
Um,
Snoke theories suck.
we need ads like that for like the Acolyte and for like the new Jedi Order movie when that comes out.
Oh, yeah, you need it for that one, definitely.
Please speculate responsibly.
You also need it for Dawn of the Jedi too.
Yeah, I mean, you need it for everything, every big Star Wars project.
Yeah, I'm still
The rest
not.
of High Republic Phase 3, please speculate responsibly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of us have been right in a few of our predictions. Some of us have been right in some predictions. I haven't been at all, but some have been.
I was shockingly right with my High Republic Adventures predictions for Phase 3, actually.
Nice.
Because I started as a joke being like, what if that masked villain from the first arc is Lula Talisola?
No.
And everyone was like, Leah, you're crazy. Leah, that would never
Yeah,
happen.
you cray.
Well, eggs on their face.
Daniel's just like shit.
Uh,
Uh, yeah. Anyway, that's our show. We are going to be back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week.
Look, the last couple weeks have been a crazy number of reveals, so like we'll have something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even if it's just lobber quotes the rest of the time. Um, I got to get
Look,
Matt in on that.
even if it's just a 2 hour discussion of Yarael Poof.
In the robot chicken voice.
Oh God.
Mon calamari are a people, and I did not know that.
I was not aware of that.
Okay,
Uh,
Yaddle, I'm gonna need to borrow your car.
I'm gonna need
In the
it's in
shop.
the shop. Uh,
Okay, I am one of 12 on the Jedi Council.
uh,
Yeah,
I did have to rewatch that right before starting the book,
it's great.
just to
It's
prime
great.
myself.
So great. It's so great. Oh, you know what another great Robot Chicken Star Wars sketch is? Prune Face. If you have not watched Prune Face, you should watch the Prune Face one.
I was just gonna say like all of them, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Max Rebo trying to get to the gig. Don't ever miss no gig, man.
All right,
Anyway,
we always wonderful being on the show.
yes, yes. I'm so sorry I went off on a tangent.
No worries. Again, that is what this is about.
Yeah, we're celebrating Star Wars. Um all right, guys. That's it for the show. We hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you next week. May you always fight for light in life. May the Force always be with you. And remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.